We're live, brother.
Right on. Hey, this is JM2 with the USA Crypto Group, and today we're going to be talking with Affinity. So this is basically a community token. I refer to it as the PayPal of crypto, which gives dual rewards in token, paying both a stable coin and a main coin. They pay over 88% of their fees to members through their tokenomics, which is pretty impressive. Their flagship ADAP DApp always allows users to send, transfer currencies via a customized name, which is also a cross bridge between BSC and soon to be Ethereum. And if needed, it is under 1% for a transaction fee. So with that, I'd like to have you introduce yourself, tell us how you came about the project, and a little bit about it.
Hey, thanks for having us here. To anybody that's listening that doesn't know much about Affinity and what we're doing, welcome, and we hope you learn some good stuff here and a little bit more to pique your interest and get you to go out and do your own research and decide if Affinity and the use of Adapt and everything else is right for you. I'm Chris. I am the CEO of Affinity Innovations Incorporated. We are a tech company that is developing lots of different applications for blockchain use along the lines of security, payment processing, and anything that we can think of that's going to make it easier for people to lower those barriers of entry coming into the crypto space, especially into DeFi, and increase security and anything that will allow the safe transactions, storage, and use of cryptocurrency. We established about, I want to say 8.5 months ago, as far as the launch of the token. We've been talking about, the team and I have been talking about and developing things for probably the better part of at least 10 months. The team, who unfortunately are not here, I know a couple of them have some family things going on and some other things that they're working on, but the original core team, which is myself, Paul, and Chris, we actually worked together and know each other on a personal level long before we decided to go into this venture together, which was extremely helpful. Everybody on the core team served in the military under some capacity. Myself, I was a 22-year Air Force veteran. I retired about 1.5 years ago. Paul was in the Navy. Chris was Marines. Zach, our CMO, was in the Army. And, we've taken those core values with us throughout this whole process. We value transparency, integrity, and we are definitely very much about our community and making sure that, those that are holding are benefiting the most. As you mentioned, it's actually 87.5% from the actual token tax goes back to the holders as ADA and BUSD. That also doesn't include, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit, the staking platform, which also gives back even more. And with the development of Adapt and the cross chain, that is actually, Adapt is on BSC and Ethereum right now. We are going to be expanding into Polygon and Crow as well.
Perfect. Yeah, I was looking at your guys' information over on PooCoin, and I saw that you guys had around 34,000 transactions last night. Which is a pretty high number. You have over 10,000 holders, which is fantastic. And even though you've been out for a while, you're still holding at an 8 million market cap and have over $500,000 in LP. So that speaks volumes to your community, the amount of holders that you guys have, and the confidence in your products. So I'd like to give you kudos on that.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we take a lot of pride in that. So community is the best.
Yeah, definitely. It's what keeps you afloat on those hard times. So we don't have the best market. So the fact that you guys are where you're at is pretty great. So you did say you're in the military. So I'm assuming that the main core team is from the U.S., correct?
Yes, everybody on our team is from the U.S. And like I said, the original three, we all live within an hour of each other. Paul and I actually live about 20 minutes from each other, so we see each other in person quite a bit. Actually, I had lunch with them today. So it is a very, very tight team, and I love working with these guys. I've been in a lot of, businesses, just like most people have in your life. You go through jobs, you go through, progressing through your career. I've also been in other startups, and I have not been around a team like this ever. Everybody always has their trials and tribulations. There's always a little bit of, back and forth, but everything that we do is constructive. There's no bickering. There's no, poking at each other for any reason. Everything is about getting down to business. We have our fun when it's time to have fun, but everything is about how can we make this better for everybody involved. It's never about us. It's always about the holders and anybody that is involved in Affinity. What ideas can we come out with? What can we do to make it better?
Definitely, that's a good foundation to have for anybody. It just makes you stronger all around. So I wanted to talk a little bit about your guys' tokenomics, because we did talk about the high rewards rate that you give out to your members. So you have a 43.75 BUSD and a 43.75 ADA, or Cardano, ADA, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
So with that, do you guys plan on creating new options for your tokenomics on the rewards giveaway, or are you going to hold steadfast with that?
So we didn't start with that, and I won't go into the other ones that we were reflecting in the beginning. But we decided probably about a month and a half in that we wanted to change direction. Stablecoin was obviously a good option. A lot of different projects do stablecoins for a multitude of reasons. Gives people the opportunity to hold something that's not going to fluctuate in turbulent market times. Not only that, but it gives the opportunity to go diversify, which we're always, kind of preaching that logic to go diversify, because if you put all your eggs in one basket, you tend to get hyper focused on that, and it's not good for your overall health. It's not good for your profile, not good for your risk profile, and it's also not good for giving yourself the best opportunity to succeed. So we want to make sure that people are aware that they should diversify, and the BUSD allows that to happen very easily. The ADA, or the pegged Cardano, we kind of went with that because we wanted to pick something that was not just simply another BSC project. There's a lot of them out there, thousands of them, hundreds of them launch every day. As people that have been with us from the beginning, they know even the other two that we originally reflected. One of them is long gone. The other one really not doing so hot. So we wanted to pick something that could give the best opportunity for growth, but was also going to be something that you could hold for a while and not have to worry about it disappearing on you. So ADA gave us that best opportunity when we looked at our options. Obviously we could have went with like XRP, BTC, they all have pegged, but we settled on ADA in the beginning. And there's always opportunity that we could switch it out. We don't have anything in the plans right now, but our contract allows it, so that's always an option.
Yeah, no, it's always good to hear the reason why people choose what they do. So that's pretty cool. So can you talk about your 8.75% burned? That also goes into your liquidity pool. And then how much have you burned to date?
Yep. So every time, the way that works with the tokenomics is once a certain amount of tokens collect into the contract through buys and sells, which currently it's 8% on the buy, 20% on the sell, gets put into the contract. Once it reaches, I believe we're at 222 million tokens, the contract will actually sell those for BNB. It takes that BNB and pushes it over to another contract that will actually buy BUSD or ADA. It flips it back and forth. So that's why it's 50-50. So one time it'll buy ADA, next time it'll buy BUSD. When it does that conversion, it takes a portion of those tokens and burns them. And then obviously the BUSD as well gets added. The BNB gets added to liquidity. And those tokens, that piece, that 8 point, and I forget the point percentage, but they're just over 8%, actually gets removed from the blockchain. So we don't use a burn wallet. We do have one, and initially we did put 100 billion tokens in there. Yeah, we started with 1 trillion. We put 100 billion tokens in there, which is 10% of our supply. But the way our contract works is it's kind of like a reverse minting function. We don't have a minting function, but the way our burn works is a reverse mint, where it actually reduces the count of tokens available. So rather than just dumping them into a wallet that doesn't have a key to access, aka a burn wallet, it just reduces the amount that the contract knows exists, essentially deleting them from the blockchain. So outside of the initial that we manually dumped into the burn wallet, we have burned an additional, looks like 31.7 billion tokens on top of the initial. So our total supply is down to 863 billion or so from 1 trillion.
Yeah, I think it's very important that you have something in your contract that legitimately burns the token. A lot of projects go to, like you said, a dead wallet, and that's just, it's not the same. The tokens are still there. It doesn't actually delete from the contract. So it's pretty impressive.
Yep. And initially we did have plans for that burn wallet, which is why we manually dumped some in there. But again, as things changed, such is life. And when we migrated away from the other reflection tokens, we no longer had a need for it, but those tokens were still burned and locked in that wallet.
Yeah, no, like I said, that's a really good idea. So the last part of your tokenomics is the marketing. So I see that you're on a pretty big spree of AMAs, so that's the local marketing. What other techniques or things are you doing that transcend the crypto atmosphere, since it sounds like you guys have already set up a corporation? How are you trying to reach people that aren't necessarily into crypto?
Yep. So one of the big ways we do it is we are partnering with a couple. We've done 2 or 3 so far of actual marketing firms. Right now we're partnered with Liquidity. They are a publicly traded company. We started with them about a week or a week and a half ago. They're going to be doing a lot of SEO targeting. They actually do ad targeting on websites. We've been on Fox, CNN, and a couple other sites. You can see our ad that'll pop up there. And there's a lot of different methods that they're using to really grab data and push our name and our token ads out to a lot of different AdSense and things like that, on top of optimizing our SEO for website hits, which we're actually doing very, very well looking at the metrics for that. So I'm excited going forward. We do things a little bit differently with Affinity. I know marketing is a huge, huge thing in crypto. Everybody, whenever you start up a project or you go into anybody's Telegram, it's always when marketing. What are you doing for marketing? Marketing. We're not naive to the fact that a lot of that are people that want to push marketing because they want that bump. They want that pump. When the pump happens, it's usually followed by a dump from profit takers. Again, I've been in business a long time. I've been in equity trading a long time and some other things in crypto. We want to do things very much on a traditional sense. We want that steady growth. We want to do targeted marketing. We want to line up marketing with our project releases, and we want to see the token grow over time. Anytime you see, and I implore you to go look at a lot of different charts. I'm not going to name anyone in particular because there are a lot of them out there that they do a lot of marketing, a lot of upfront marketing. They don't really have anything to back it up. So what happens is they have this huge run up. Some people, the very, very early investors, benefit greatly. And then everybody else is stuck waiting for something else, some other catalyst to hopefully carry it along while you're also fighting upward resistance, trying to get back to that all-time high point. Our all-time high is about 21 million, I believe, and that was back in January. I believe it happened once in November, and then again in, I believe it was January. So it's not that far off of where we are now, and that's what we want to see. We want to see that growth, and then eventually break that all-time high, and then move on to the next one. So anytime we do any kind of marketing, whether it's through AMAs or if it's targeted marketing through marketing firms, it's for a reason. Sometimes we don't put anything into marketing at that time because we don't have anything to propel us and back that up. If we do end up getting a run up, we want something that's going to back that up and not just go stagnant.
No, I think that's a great plan. And like you said, you're kind of completely encompassing. You're not just sticking to one area. You're looking at it targeted marketing, like you said. So you're not trying to reach people that are just going to pump and dump. You're trying to reach a full spectrum of people. And the marketing, like you said, Liquidity, Fox, CNN, you're looking for serious investors. So I think that's very important. You don't hear of a lot of crypto projects that are up and coming on the DeFi space doing things like that. So I really like that.
We're very much running this in that respect from a marketing standpoint and some other standpoints, very much like a traditional business. Like I said, that's where I come from. I have a lot of knowledge with that. I have an MBA. I've been involved in 2 other startups. I was a CEO of one, and I'm also the founder and CEO of a nonprofit organization. So this is not anything that's foreign to me or my team. A typical crypto investor, I'll definitely put air quotes around investor, might come along and see our chart and say, oh, it's kind of stagnant, trading sideways, or it's only 9 million market cap. It's not, 100x. And maybe they get turned off. But really, when you get down to the nuts and bolts of what we're doing here, if you really, truly understand business and you truly understand the way things should operate as opposed to the way things have been operating, then you would actually see the silver lining behind what is going on with Affinity.
Definitely. So looking at your site, one of the things that really stood out to me was it was posted on your first main page, and that is all of your wallets clearly marked. Usually when I'm looking at projects, they have their dev wallets, their team wallets are hidden somewhere, or you have to really prod someone to get the information. But you had the whole entire thing clearly displayed saying, hey, this is where you get this information. This is where it is. This is what it's going to, and this is how it works. So can you explain a little bit about that and why you chose to go that route?
Yep. Absolutely. And it's simple, transparency, and again, honesty. We have never sold a single Affinity token out of any of those wallets to support anything we're doing. Even marketing, we pay for everything through reward reflection. So that's why you'll see, and I get it, and this should be, we understand these questions and concerns, especially from people that haven't been around. You see one wallet holding 4%, right? Our marketing wallet holds 4% of the tokens. The reason being is because that wallet receives BUSD and ADA in it, and then we use that to pay for the marketing and if we need dev work done or anything, we need front-end developers or anybody else that helps us out in expanding our ventures, because we do mostly, job contracting. We had, for instance, like we had Fox helping us with some APIs and some other work. We use those funds to pay for that kind of thing. We never have and we never will sell any tokens against our contract to pay for anything. As a matter of fact, even the dev wallets, there's 3 dev wallets there. Those are basically set up for the same reason. So anybody on the team doesn't get paid by using those tokens. It's through the reward reflections that come into those wallets. As a matter of fact, Paul has even emptied that wallet twice by giving it away. Well, this will be the second time, giving it away to the community for different giveaways and things like that. So those wallets are actually owned by the company as well. So we do have legal documentation for all of those wallets stating that they're owned by the company. So Affinity Innovations, Inc. owns those wallets. I don't own it. Paul, Chris, we don't own any of those wallets. Inside that documentation states that at any time if somebody was to leave that team, they need to turn that wallet immediately over back to the company, and they are not allowed to sell or do anything with it, or there'll be legal action taken. So we actually do have that documented and signed.
Yeah, that's really cool. Kind of like what you mentioned, and I really want to highlight what you said. The fact that you guys are using other tokens and the reflections to pay everything is fantastic, because a lot of other projects, they essentially cannibalize their own by taking their tokens and selling them. That's when you get the large dips in price, because they have to pay the holders out. But if you have it in other coins, it doesn't affect your chart. So exactly. That's a very, very awesome move. So I know you have a contract for people that might have nefarious reasons for leaving. It sounds like you have a pretty solid team and you're not too worried about it, but have you guys thought about doing a multi-signature wallet? That way you have to have multiple people sign on before someone can pull anything, or the contract you feel is stable enough where you wouldn't have to worry about that?
Yeah, I believe it is. If we had people outside, which is the other piece, is anybody that comes on outside of the three originals do not get tokens. We don't give influencers, we don't give anybody any Affinity tokens. Period. Obviously we do something called Affinity Friday, where every Friday we have the community together. We do some giveaways for games. Of course, we give away some tokens at that point, but I end up buying them. I use the marketing wallet. I buy against the chart, and then those tokens we end up giving away $20, $30 here worth of Affinity tokens every Friday. So it amounts to approximately about $200 every Friday worth of Affinity tokens that were purchased on the open market get given away to our community. So we don't ever give them out to anybody else. Nobody else that comes onto the team. We've since hired 3 additional people. None of them have gotten a wallet with any Affinity in it as compensation. So since the original 3 people are the only ones that have access to any of those wallets, we're all friends. We all started together. We believe that contract and the legal binding contract is enough. The trouble with multi-sig is if somebody, because again, the rewards that come into those are the only way that anybody gets any compensation for doing the work that we do. We would basically have to combine those and then divvy it out, and it just becomes more of a headache than we feel is needed. Nobody from the community really felt that it was any threat. So I can appreciate that, but I can also appreciate the hesitation and people that aren't really comfortable with us as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I just thought I'd throw it out there. If, like you said, you do have an actual corporation and legal binding documents, so that's another thing you usually don't see in DeFi space. So pretty fantastic all around, honestly. So now that we talked a little bit about the wallets and kind of how you guys operate that, let's talk about your staking pool. So it looks like you have a 30 and a 90-day option, but the thing I really wanted to highlight on your website is it said you have over 62% of your token supply that's staked. So that's a huge bolster to confidence for people, even on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. And that does not include, again, the marketing wallet and the team wallet. So those combined are about 7.5%. So we're closer to 70% because we won't stake those. We don't stake them on purpose because we don't want to take away from anybody else that's staked. For instance, if I was to throw the marketing wallet or the dev team wallet into that staking pool, we're going to end up getting a lot of the tokens that are thrown into that pool for everybody else. So we don't want to take away from anybody else by doing that, because obviously we're not going to sell them, so we could just easily stake them. And one thing that's very, very unique about our staking, and I know the people that are in those pools and have no tendency on selling or getting out love it. But it's something that we've never seen, and we put in our staking. We actually have rather than have a penalty on the tokens that you earn and all that while you're in staking, we couldn't do that because in our staking pools, you continue to earn BUSD and ADA while you're staked, along with Affinity and our partnership pool right now, which is SafeMoon. You continue to earn your BUSD and ADA. So we needed a way for people to harvest that out of there while they remain staked. So we couldn't put anything in the contract saying, well, if you unstake early, you'll get penalized on what you earned, because obviously at any time you can just you can harvest and pull all your earnings out anyway. So what we did that was unique was we added a penalty on your entire amount staked. So for one, that's a hell of a commitment to say, I want to enter the staking knowing that if I pull out within that 30 days or 90 days, 10% or 5% respectively of my entire bag is going to get deducted if I unstake early. So for that to be implemented and still have 62% staked is pretty damn impressive. So the way that works is if I go into the 30-day pool and I pull out after 10 days, 10% of my entire bag is going to get deducted and then reflected back on everybody that still remains in that pool. Perfect example, and it does get turned into BNB, and then that BNB goes and buys against the contract and then reflects it. perfect example. We had a large holder that decided they wanted to back out. I think we had 33 BNB worth of Affinity that was purchased and reflected back on everybody that was in the 90-day pool. That was a great payday for everybody.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. That was going to be my next question. Where does it go to? So you're saying 100% of that 10% goes directly back into the pools, correct?
Absolutely. And actually, even this is where we got into the 87.5% of the rewards go back to holders. We get a very little amount of BNB that comes back into the marketing wallet every time the contract sells. And we actually use the marketing wallet to pay for staking. So our staking contract doesn't work where we just front load it with a bunch of Affinity, or we don't mint tokens to give out to staking. We actually have it buy against the contract. So every night there's an amount of BNB for each pool, dedicated amount for each pool that buys against the contract and reflects it against them. And that money comes from the marketing wallet. So in many cases, especially when volume's low, we're over 100% of everything going back to the holders.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to get into next was how are you guys funding that? So that's pretty cool to know that aspect of it. So how much does your ADAP program play into funding the staking pools, or where are all the revenues, the funds going for that?
Yep. So right now, Adapt doesn't fund anything to do with staking. What it does is every bit that comes through there gets dropped into a wallet, the Adapt wallet, and then those funds are used, which I did a couple weeks ago, to do buyback and burn. I think I ended up buying back approximately 2 billion and burned it. So all of the funds, 100% of the funds that are taken from the fees going through Adapt, go right back into the token with a buyback and burn. As we go forward, the plan is it'll be automated. Right now, it's not automated simply because there's not enough volume going through Adapt to really kind of make it worthwhile. We want to still figure out how that's going to work before we put a contract in between and have everything automated. Once we get more and more buy-in, more people are using Adapt on a regular basis, especially once the mobile app comes out, we can sit a contract in between, and we can actually have that either do automatic buybacks, or we can have it feed the BNB that comes into the wallet directly into the contract that buys the rewards, so it can actually aid in giving out the BUSD and ADA, because ultimately our goal is to stop rolling back those taxes. We understand, there's a lot of people that come around and say, hey, well, it's 8% to buy, 20% to sell. That's kind of steep. I agree. But there's reasons why we do that, right? One of them is because we want to create that solid, stable chart. We know it hurts volume to have high taxes. It's no secret to us. But I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of volume to stabilize things, get people in to actually do their research, know what Affinity is doing, learn about us. And then as we start growing, we've created that solid base. And then we can push forward and start reducing those taxes, knowing that people aren't here for a pump and dump. They're not here for a quick ride. They know what we're about. They've researched us, and they're going to be here as long as they feel is necessary. And then Adapt will backfeed that. So as we reduce taxes, Adapt will kind of offset that. So that way the people that are used to certain levels of rewards can enjoy the same, relatively the same level of rewards with less taxes.
Yeah, that is great. I was going to talk a little bit about that. So the overall goal, do you believe, is to get rid of taxes altogether if all your utilities are self-funding everything? Or do you believe you'll still have a minimal tax at the end of the day?
No, the goal is to get rid of it completely. Now, how long will that take? Obviously, nobody knows. It could be 6 months. It could be 2 years. But obviously, the ultimate goal for us is to bring it down over time, and I would love to see it go to zero. But obviously, that is going to take time. We need to do our best to keep developing and marketing and get Adapt used by as many people as possible, along with our other products. So it's not just going to be Adapt that's going to feed that.
Definitely. So that's important because that shows to me that you guys have longevity. You have plans past the current state you're in. a lot of these projects, they just want to continue on the taxes until it burns out. But from what you're saying, you have a plan where your utilities are going to become important, pretty much a niche in everybody's life, where it's going to be so easy to use and so beneficial that that's going to become the mainscape of your project. So I just want people to think about that. So with that, I'd like to talk about your partnership with SafeMoon. I know they don't just give that to anybody. So what kind of things did you guys have to do to get that partnership lined up, and how are you guys working together? I see that it's also part of your staking pool. So I'd like you to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So with the swap, it actually started when we went out to Cryptopia a few months ago. Met a bunch of different projects, some really great people that we have at least some kind of association with, if not strategic partnerships with them as well. But we got to meet the team. At the time, Ryan was still with them, and a couple other people. They're doing some good things out there, some great ideas. The swap was kind of piqued our interest, so we looked more into it. We actually had applied before we went out there, and then got to speak to them about what that entails when we got out. There was a fee associated with getting on there. We were, because of our contact with them, able to work out a really, really good deal, and get on that swap. And it's, as far as any other sort of partnership or anything we're working on together with them, at this time, there's really nothing else going on directly development-wise or otherwise. With our staking pool, we decided to go with SafeMoon because of, when our pool ended with Auto Crypto, we wanted to bring in something that the community at large is interested in. And anybody knows that there's a large SafeMoon community, and a lot of people have asked for it. We try to do the best we can to accommodate for anybody that's looking for anything specific. So that's why we went with them. It has nothing to do with any deals or any kind of future development. I know there's always speculation out there, especially with our cross-chain. I know they're working on cross-chain. There's a lot of people asking if we were partnering with them on that. We are not. This is our own standalone project. So yeah, it's really a strategic partnership, mostly centered around the swap. Everything's been very professional. The people we've talked to. Outside of that, we just push forward every day and see what we can make of it.
I think that was a very smart move to get your name out there with a trusted, really high name, the high profile DeFi that made it big. So that's very impressive.
Yep.
So with that, you guys have talked about your transparency and your commitment to your users. So I know it's not a huge thing, but for convenience of your members, I thought it was pretty cool you have the rewards tab. So can you talk to me about that and why it's important for your users and what features it enables them to do to make them a better investor in your project?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's something that's really important for pretty much any token that gives rewards. Not all of them have it, but a lot of them do, and it should be something everybody should strive for. And what it does is, when a user goes to Affinity BSC.app, they can connect their wallet, and it will actually tell them how many pending rewards, both in ADA and BUSD, they have, and it will allow them to claim those rewards. Obviously, it also tells you how much you have in your wallet as well. So why this is important is because the way these contracts work is they're based on volume. Just simple blockchain technology. You need transactions of some sort to make something happen on the blockchain. So for our rewards to get distributed to all the wallet holders, there needs to be transactions involving the Affinity token, whether it's a transfer, a buy, a sell, stake, unstake, doesn't matter. As long as the Affinity token is involved in a transaction, it will trigger an event that will distribute 20, I'm just guessing here, but 20 different wallets will get their rewards. In the meantime, people are always asking, well, I've seen the contract sold 2 or 3 times today. Where are my rewards? Well, when the contract sells, it marks them, the blockchain marks them as your wallet owning that currency. You may not see it in your wallet yet because they're still pending on the blockchain waiting for distribution. So this DApp allows you to actually see what's been earmarked for you and pending. That way, you don't have to come in our chat every 5 minutes and ask, hey, where's my rewards? I have no idea where they are. You can just go to that DApp and see them and manually claim them if you so choose. Otherwise, you can just wait and they will come to you.
Yeah, it's a pretty smart feature right there because we all know that sometimes systems get congested. So, like you said, seeing an earmark is pretty fantastic versus potentially waiting a half hour to an hour for something to actually hit your wallet. So I think that puts a little bit of ease on your investors for sure.
Oh yeah, especially if volume's really slow, which it does get that way right now. I know we're basically in like a bear market that's trying to break out of a bear market. So crypto volume all around has been low. So sometimes, yeah, it can take 24 hours plus, depending on the volume, to actually see those rewards hit your wallet. So yeah, it's very important for us to have that feature.
All right, so now I want to kind of get into your guys' ADAP. So very cool idea. I like it a lot. Kind of like what I said in the beginning, the intro. It's like a PayPal or a SafePay. It gives people the option to pay out to other crypto users. But the feature that I really liked about it was the fact that you can make it kind of like a phone contact list. So let's say hey, I'm going to send you Cryptormint 5B BNB. I put your wallet address in there one time with your username, and then it remembers it. So all I have to do is click on it, correct? And then it does an auto transfer for me.
Yep, it's actually even simpler than that. So you never have to even ask or know what my wallet address is. All you have to know is my username. So as soon as you connect to it, so if you go to adapt.exchange, as soon as you connect to the DApp, it's going to assign you a username, very generic, like series of numbers and letters. And then you can go in there, tap on your profile picture at the top right, edit your profile. You can change the name to anything that you want as long as it's not taken. Obviously, a couple other things like no spaces and things like that. But simplest state, just type in a username you want. You can put in a little bio, put a profile picture, and you're done. So at that point, anybody that's using Adapt, which one of my names, by the way, is Cryptormint. So if you want to send me 5 BNB, have at it. So if you go in there, all you have to do is connect your wallet, type in Cryptormint, type in Joe, whatever it may be, hit verify. It will then display their profile, their picture, their name. That way you know that the person you typed in is an actual user. Plus it gives you that extra level of authentication, because if you know that, you know, my name is Cryptormint, but you don't know, you know, you want to verify the profile picture, maybe you know what my bio says, things like that, you can verify that again. Then you select the token you want to send, how much you want to send. It'll tell you the USD value. It'll tell you everything about that token. And then you can hit send, and it will go to that person. You never, ever even have to contact them as long as you know their username. It's great for giveaways. You know, a lot of projects out there do giveaways. Rather than ask people for wallet addresses, you can ask for a simple username. In the future, it's obviously going to be used for payment systems, payment gateways, POS systems, things of that nature. And yes, you can add people to contact lists. So once you verify them, there's a link right below it. You just hit add to contacts, and it automatically adds them to your contact list. So that way, next time you go in, you can just select them.
Yeah, I think the ease of use on that is a really great idea. So I do have a concern with that though, and it's kind of minimal. I could be nitpicking a little bit, but with that, there are a lot of new users. So let's say that I'm a new Affinity user. This is my first time going on Telegram, doing things like that. A lot of people don't know the scammers or to block them. So I've seen plenty of people come in brand new and yeah, I see your name Cryptormint, but they don't know that you're not going to DM. So do you guys have a feature that kind of blocks the wrong people, or is there a way to freeze the funds if someone who's pretending to be you but has that slight underscore or maybe an extra letter in there? Do you guys have a way of preventing people from losing their funds?
So two things. One, obviously there's an element of due diligence, and this is DeFi, so we don't want to ever get into the frame of mind of like either freezing funds or anything like that. Now, if we do come across an account that's, and we are going to build in a report feature at some point that is an obvious scam account, we can at least remove that account. Doesn't mean that they can't come back with another wallet or whatever and create another one. I mean, there's really no way to stop that in DeFi completely. We definitely would have to go full centralized in order to stop that. But there is, what we did do is we have a feature in there that you have to type the name exactly. All right, so there's no search. So for instance, if somebody was to put that underscore or a 0 instead of the O, as long as you as a user don't type that underscore or that 0 instead of the O, you'll never know that person existed. So there's no like typing in CRYP and then hitting search or anything like that, and it won't come up with a list of like names. You have to type the name exactly. So there is that level of due diligence to say, hey, I know this username. I'm going to type it the right way, which is a lot easier than typing a wallet address or copying a wallet address. And then you'll know that you're going to the right person. We also do have verification. So if it's a business, nonprofit organization, things like that, I can't verify that account. So getting some information from them, we can put a green check mark next to their profile picture. So that way, if it's, say, for instance, a nonprofit organization you want to donate to, you see that green check mark, it's the actual nonprofit and not somebody trying to pretend to be them with some kind of different name. And we actually did, like, somebody in my chat just reminded me, we had somebody that tried to impersonate one of my mods, who's now our executive assistant, using her Adapt account. And it was kind of funny because they gave her actual Adapt username. So because they know that, if you don't type the right name, they're not going to find them. So they gave her name. So if they were even successful in scamming somebody, it would have gone to her wallet. They wouldn't have even got the funds. So it didn't really make sense to me why they were trying to scam it was just some crazy, weird situation. So it does definitely deter scammers, but since it's DeFi, there's no 100%. There's no way to really eliminate that completely unless you go centralized.
Yeah, definitely, fair enough. Like I said, I'm just kind of nitpicking. I can't be too easy on you on the AMA,
Oh no, of course, and we're always open to that kind of stuff. So if you got any suggestions, we're always open to it. We've already implemented about 5 or 6 suggestions from our community. We love it.
Yeah, for sure. So with that, I know I kind of mentioned the PayPal thing. Do you have a friends or family where someone could send it either like a tax-free rate, or have you thought about implementing something like that, or are you just going to keep it with the 0.75 flat across the board?
So right now, our contract is set up for a flat. We will be changing that in the future once more adoption happens, because we want to have different rates for whether it's a business, whether it's obviously nonprofits. We want to give them a better rate. And then we are going to change some things along the lines. Right now, to make it easier on us and to create more adoption, just the flat 0.75 is going to be good. Obviously going forward, maybe with businesses, we want to increase it a little bit more. Person to person, maybe we would decrease it. And then nonprofits, maybe we'd make it either minimal or no fee at all. We don't know how that's going to work. But yeah, definitely in the future, we will be implementing something like that. One thing that we want to put in, so we have the mobile app coming in a couple weeks, at least the beta. And when you say PayPal or Cash App or Venmo, if you've seen the screenshots, I'm not sure if you've seen them. I know somebody posted them in your chat here. It looks very, very similar to a Cash App. We wanted to make it simple and easy. You have your contact list there. You just have a number pad. You type in the token, you type in the value or how many tokens you want to send, and hit send. One thing we will probably be putting in the future is the ability to hit your contact list on your phone if you want to. One thing that we never want to do is force people to give up personal information. I don't want it. I don't like collecting personal information. I don't want it. I don't want to have to deal with the headaches of keeping that secure. But we're going to in the future, but it's going to be an option. It'll be off by default. But if you want to make it easier on yourself and you're the kind of person that doesn't mind it, more power to you. We'll have that option in there where you can use the contact list in your phone, see if anybody else has Adapt, and you'll be able to go from there.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like that. Kind of being cautious with the contact list. So from what I understand, both members have to be on the ADAPT DAP to use it, correct?
Yes, to use it the way it is, because the username is linked to a wallet address in the Adapt system. So if somebody's never connected to it, then they definitely don't have a username. So there's nobody to send it to. Now they don't have to be on it per se, just like with Cash App or whatever. They don't have to actively be connected to it. But once they connected to it and establish that username, that's it. From that point on, you can just send it to them anytime you need to.
All right. And then do you guys have a minimal amount of tokens that you need, or is it just
Nope.
open play as soon as you get in there?
Yep, no minimum. The only kind of control point that we have is we don't just allow people to add tokens. So we go through a slight vetting process. It's not, an incredible. We don't sit there and dig for days and days and days. But we do require tokens to be listed for at least a couple of weeks. We meet with the team, or at least, have a conversation with them, look at their contract, look at everything about them, and if there's no red flags and they applied, then we'll allow them. We can never guarantee that somebody on there is not going to be, a scam or a rug pull or anything like that, but we do our best to vet them out to the best of our ability without really taking away from the, what DeFi is supposed to be. We don't want to be gatekeepers, but at the same time, we don't want to expose Adapt users to potential scams if we can help it.
Fair enough. So are you planning on using this as a potential marketplace in some sort of way here in the future, or what's the overall goal with
Yep.
Adapt? I know you've talked about with businesses and things like that, but are you going to have like different Adapt features, kind of like an Angie's List, where like these are trusted entities, or how are you going to work that?
So here's what's interesting about, again, the way we do things. We're not trying to do everything, right? There's a lot of projects out there. You look at their roadmap; they try to do everything. We strongly believe in partnerships, right? Businesses that succeed through partnerships. So we find other projects that are doing those types of things. We're working with a couple right now that are putting together marketplaces. You talk about Devious. We're working with Devious and his NFT marketplace, partnering with him. There's a couple others out there. We have RocketFi that's putting out a wallet. They're gonna be using our APIs for Adapt to incorporate it into their wallet. So rather than us trying to create a bunch of things, we're gonna market Adapt to be incorporated into things that other people are creating, so we don't have to spend the resources, the time in developing all these things. We want it to be more of a payment processor. We're gonna come out with a POS system that can be, implemented inside of businesses. Us ourselves are going to be standing up brick and mortar facilities, likely within the next year and a half, that are going to have these POS systems in them. So we're really going down the payment processor road. Think of the scale that like PayPal went down, right? PayPal utilized eBay as their main vehicle to really expand. That's what we want to do. We don't want to create eBay. We want to be like how PayPal did and started incorporating themselves into a lot of different projects and products that other people were creating.
No, definitely like that. It's very smart to get your name out there, and then you already have a large corporate structure that you can, I guess, have a symbiotic relationship with. So that's very smart. I did have one idea for the ADAPT, and I'm not sure if you guys are already working on it, but have you thought about setting up like a universal recurring payment or auto pay feature for your members? So if you are talking about the businesses.
Yes.
Maybe it makes sense to have like a monthly, like I owe this person $100, or if people are really taking up the crypto like it seems they are, maybe you do your monthly rent.
Yes. Yep. So that is in the future plans for Adapt. And then one of the things for like businesses, like I said, when the contract changes, there's going to be a lot of different things that'll happen on that front with contracts that'll be created as the business connects up to their POS system that'll hold the funds and make bookkeeping and things like that much easier for them. So yes, going down the road, there's going to be a lot more that's going to come to Adapt. Minimal viable product is the way we started, and we're going down that road. So every step is more and more intricate and more features introduced. So yes, definitely going down the road, there'll be things like automatic payments, requesting payment, a lot of those types of things.
Do you guys foresee yourself having invoices of transactions, or is that going to be left on the users on either side to provide that?
Nope, I can see that happening definitely. Like I said, we want to make this a full scale payment processing system, not just something that can be used, but something everybody wants to use, whether it's business to business, business to customer, and peer to peer.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I really like that. I guess I'll finish with, for me at least, the part with you guys working with other projects. So I did see a pretty cool drawing and had you guys up top, and then all the different partnerships that you guys have. So can you explain what your role is in that, and how you help up and coming businesses to become better and provide ideas? I guess you guys could say you're kind of like that venture capitalist of the DeFi space.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing we strongly believe in as a company is education, and not just with holders and the individual, people that come into our community, but with other partners or other projects or whoever else out there that we can have a good conversation with. Because the more we can help better other people, we can help better the entire space. There's so much garbage out there, especially on BSC, that we really need to have more of a collaboration and understanding and work together. So yes, there are other projects out there that not only have we helped, um, you know, along the way, whether it's help with a launch or help with some looking over a contract, but they've helped us as well. And I love doing that, and I want to continue those relationships and build on it because again, you cannot be successful living in your own bubble. You're not going to do everything in a vacuum. If you try, you're gonna fail. That's simple economics. It's business 101. You're not going to be able to do everything yourself. You are going to have to work with other people and other companies in order to succeed long term. Sure, there's a lot of people that do that and they're successful short term, but it's a flash in the pan, and that's not what Affinity's here for, and that's not what we will be here for. So we'll continue to do that. I'm not actually familiar with the graphic that you've seen, but
Yeah, it had a whole bunch of people going up a hillside, and I think the
okay.
Affinity guy was up on top, kind of pulling the other projects up, and everybody was working together. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay, I do remember seeing that one now. Yep. Yep.
I can speak on
Right on. Well, I'm gonna stop asking questions and open it up to the community, see what they have, and then I'll go through the announcement channel and read some of the ones for people that are not comfortable with the mic.
Awesome. I think Zach was saying something, but Zach, you're really, really quiet. No? Okay.
Weird. Is this better? I don't know. I was trying to turn myself up here.
Yeah, you're still quiet, but I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was gonna say I could speak on that a little bit if you want. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, it's your.
Yeah, a little bit late. Sorry, it is the other half's birthday today, so we were out to a birthday dinner. Usually I'm here up here with Chris, hashing this stuff out, talking with you guys. Just a little family stuff today, but I guess I came at the perfect time. We really pride ourselves, and I really don't want to reiterate too much what Chris said, but we really pride ourselves in just bringing people together. We found that there's a big sour spot for the maxi tribalism mentality, and it's just got to go. At the end of the day, we're only going to prosper together, and that is also a form of marketing, right? There's a partnership marketing, which is important. You look at any big companies nowadays, unless you're looking at, say, Xbox versus PlayStation or Sony versus Microsoft, right? But those other big companies have sub companies that they partner with and they help with. It's just important to success, and especially if you have that mindset across the board, just like any happy mindset or good mindset, it's like a virus. It spreads and it leaks out to other people. And I don't want to say we're pioneers of this Unite DeFi, but we kind of are. We really have just essentially, we don't want to put the whole space on our back, but we've just realized that we can't do everything, and not everybody can do everything. So if we can create one set product, and then, for example, one of our partners, Devious, I actually believe they came through here for their NFT marketplace. Or Chris could go and build an NFT marketplace if he wanted to, but there's no point to. Why would he put that time into going building something that, again, we don't need to put that energy into? So little stuff like that helps all of us prosper at the end of the day. So yeah, I just want to touch on that a little bit.
No, I appreciate it. That's really smart. Like you guys said, why waste energy and resources if you're not the expert in that niche? So having those people and those partnerships definitely boosts you another level. It saves a lot of time and money as well. Do we have any questions on the floor?
Yeah, actually, I have a question here. Hey, Crypto, really nice to see a project with real life business experience. You guys, applying that into the crypto space. So I think it's really nice to see. And good job on doing your registrations with having a legal business entity. So I think that put a lot of trust into the people as well.
Thank you. Yeah, and I do want to make it clear. There's two parts to that. One, I do understand that there's a lot of people that are trying to gain the experience by coming into crypto. Crypto is very new, very early. A lot of people would develop, they can develop real well, a lot of experience on that front, but really no leadership or business experience. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but more times than not, it turns out to be down the line, especially when you're dealing with a lot of money and a lot of people's trust. So the other piece to that is I also see some other projects and companies that are very much structured to just be a company. And I can see, and I'm not going to call people out or anything like that because that's not fair, especially to other people's money, that they are very much feeding their own private business through a token. And we never want to be that way. We established the company for a couple reasons. One is to be able to leverage certain laws and shields for regulation and other things that will eventually inevitably shield the token and everybody that's holding from certain things affecting it when it comes down to what the SEC decides to do in the government and that kind of stuff. The other thing is as an established company, especially as a corporation, when we made the move from LLC to a C Corp, allows us to do some equity investing where we're not having to offer up the token. What happens a lot of times is these LLCs or these other tokens that decide to launch themselves as a business, the way they get investors, outside investors, VCs or whatever it is by giving them a large holding of the token. And we made that clear in the beginning of the CMA. That's not something we want to do and we will ever do. This way we can offer actual equity in the company to bring in bigger investors and then use that money to build better products, hire more developers, build everything that we need to do to solidify what's going on with the token. And then eventually, I know we haven't really talked about it much here, but we do plan on going into blockchain development and other things that are going to greatly benefit DeFi and everybody that's involved with Affinity. So we want to make that very clear that the reason our company is established is to support everything that we've built so far and build on that. It's not the other way around. It's not something that we're utilizing the token to build the business. Again, we don't sell tokens to do that. We don't utilize anything, from the Affinity token side to expand on the actual business. The business will eventually feed everything that we're developing and allow us to a greater opportunity to expand on the resources to do so.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, and thanks for making that clear because you're right. Excuse me. Yeah, given within the space, you see a lot of companies, like you said, they use the crypto space to fund the actual business, the real life business. But then when you pretty much put it at the front, right, trying to raise money for the actual business, but when you ask the questions whether it's actually in one entity, and it's never one entity, it's always a separate entity. So they're using the crypto space to raise money for other things, and that's how they go about doing it. So I appreciate you guys have good intentions, with the business. Very important. My second question is, how do you foresee the business? You on your roadmap, you said that you're gonna help business in the metaverse. How do you see that play out?
Yeah, so one way we can do that is I'm not sure how familiar you are with the logic and the theories behind Web3. Web3 is essentially, obviously, using your wallet and your own custodianship to kind of take your own ownership and onus of the web and really have your own footprint out there rather than have companies owning your presence and things like that out on the web. So with a lot of these metaverses that are being set up that are blockchain centric. Not every metaverse is blockchain centric. You can look. There's a lot of video games out there that already exist and have existed for years that are considered a metaverse. So specifically, the ones that are coming from the DeFi space utilize that Web3 interface, which is essentially connecting your wallet. Well, what we can do, and we are working with at least one company right now on a different blockchain they're in the process of developing, is utilizing the connection mechanism and the username portion to, when you connect, you have that profile already built out for you. So think about if you were to go into this metaverse, you've never been in it before, but you have an Adapt account. If you can connect using your Adapt, as soon as you go into that space, your account's already built out for you. You already have a username. Your wallet address is already tied to it. So if you're in that metaverse and you want to make transactions inside of it, your wallet's already connected to it. If somebody wants to send you money inside of it, they can send it directly to your username and send you funds. Same thing with you. You can send to other people's funds. So it really is a gateway into account creation as well as payment interaction inside of any metaverse that wants to incorporate it, which it would be extremely easy for anybody developing a metaverse to incorporate our APIs and use it so they don't have to develop a login system with a profile build out.
Yeah, that's very smart actually. Yeah, that's actually very amazing because you guys can pretty much apply your concept or your gateway, your payment gateway to pretty much all the metaverses out there. Yeah, very very smart.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody that uses Web3 for connecting wallets and has any kind of profile or mechanism built into it, they can use Adapt.
Yeah, appreciate the answer. That's all I have for now. Thanks.
Of course. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I have a question. So, you all know that every question an investor asks before investing in a project is how safe is this project? So regarding the safety and security of your platform, what security measures have you adopted to ensure that your platform is safe enough for investors? And how would you say right here to the listeners right now that you guys can guarantee your trust to the users who are trusting this project?
So if you're talking specifically about the token, I will tell you the same thing I tell everybody else. Don't invest in us until you do your research. But in your research, one of the things that you'll find is that every single member of the team is completely doxed. Our names, our last names, our LinkedIn's, everything's out there. We are a legally registered business. We do, like was stated earlier, we do have documentation that protects wallets legally. So you can make sure that obviously none of the wallets are going to be sold without legal recourse. And the backgrounds of the individuals involved. Myself, I have almost 20 years of IT experience, almost the same amount of business experience. With an MBA, I have an undergrad in IT security, and my team does as well. I think pretty much everybody on the IT team at least has an undergrad in security, as well as numerous other certifications. So there's really obviously an element of trust when it comes to the token, because there's really no way to make anything 100% secure. I mean, the blockchain doesn't lie, so that's one thing. We put all of our wallet addresses out there, so they're easy to find. You can track those. You can track all the transactions. You can do all the research you want on the entire team. We don't hide our names. We don't hide our faces. And again, the business is out there. You can look it up. I mean, it's fairly new, so I don't know how much information you're going to find out there, but it's Affinity Innovations, Inc. We're registered out of the state of Delaware. So that's really the extent of what we're doing from the token. But again, it's still on the individual to do their research. We implore everybody to do that. Please do not put any of your hard-earned money into Affinity or any project without doing your research and making sure that you're comfortable with the amount of money that you're putting in there. As far as the Adapt platform goes, we do have a lot of security measures in place. I know Chris was implementing, multiple levels of encryption and security between the back end and the front end. So there's a lot going on there. Who's hot mic? And is that Mike? Yeah, so there's a lot of security things that are put in place on our software. But if your question is on the token, that's really the advice I can offer you.
If I can add to that a little bit, because I was going to say, if I can add, because it kind of was brought up twice between both questions, both people that came up. And this is kind of like just an overarching thing that we preach, just to put it into a few words. So we really believe in centralization to decentralization. What we mean by that is, no, we don't want your information, but we want to center ourselves like a business that can be trusted, like your Apples or your Googles. We don't plan to leave anytime soon. We're going to be here for 10, 20 years plus, for as long as it takes to make our business prosper to where we need it to go. So all these legal bindings in order, and we've solidified ourselves as a corporation for a reason for that sense of security. So you understand that we're not going anywhere, that we're here to stay, and the people who run this business are going to do it with the best intent.
Okay, thank you. And my second question is, I just learned this project has been launched some months ago. So regarding your roadmap, I would like you to brief over the business plan and roadmap of your project. What has been done? Where are you guys heading towards right now? And out of those milestones, which one are you guys really focusing on the most right now?
So everything on that roadmap that has the check next to it has been completed. I know there's like one or two checks I need to still put on because the APIs are done. So we've launched V1 of Adapt. We've launched 1.5. I believe we're on 1.69. So there's been 3 iterations of Adapt and a couple small updates in between. The staking platform was obviously completed. The reward app is completed. Right now, what we're focusing on, which should be out hopefully within the next couple of weeks, is the cross-chain swap. So you'll be able to swap between the Binance chain, Ethereum, Polygon, and Crow using Adapt. So you'll be able to just swap right to those native tokens right through our Adapt platform. So that is probably the one of the main focuses right now. The other one is the Adapt mobile app, which, like was stated a little earlier, that beta will be releasing by the end of this month, and then the full release will be followed 2 to 4 weeks after that at the latest, as long as testing goes well. So those will be on the Apple and Android app stores. And then after that, we will be moving really hard into the what we call Adapt 2.0, which is essentially our peer-to-peer exchange. So that will be a decentralized peer-to-peer exchange that will work much, much differently than any other exchange that you've ever used before. It will be true peer-to-peer.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much.
No problem.
You saw that
Hello, I have a question. Hello, I have a question.
Yep, go for it.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, I really have a question. Can I proceed?
Certainly.
Okay. For most people, the main focus of any crypto community is on the price of the token. When price goes up, people are happy. When they go down, people start to leave. What is the team plan to strategy and grow a loyal community? And how do you trust it as an investor? Do you get the question?
Yep, I completely understand, and I can answer that the same way we've been answering it for months. we don't focus much on the chart. I'm going to be straight honest with you. We focus on building products on the community, letting the community know what we're doing, transparency, letting them know where we stand, what the roadmap's going on. When you focus too much on the chart, it's going to collapse things for you because you're spending all of your effort making sure that the chart is going up, making sure everybody's happy with that. Our community, the vast majority of our community, is very happy whether that chart is going up or going down, because they know that at the end of the day, we're not going anywhere. We're going to keep building, and if we build out everything that we plan on doing and our plans come to fruition, that chart is going to take care of itself. So we don't hide that fact. We don't sit there and tell anybody that, hey, this thing's going to 10x, 100x. I really have no idea what it's going to do. All I know is we're going to work our butts off and work as hard as we possibly can to make things go as smooth as they possibly can. We make no promises of any price action, but I do understand where you're coming from. But I think it builds a more solid base. And if you do look at our chart, when we do go up, we create some really, really solid floors. And that's because we're honest with the community that it's going to go up, it's going to go down. You know, that there's not much we can do about that.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I have another question.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. I think you know that for the prosperity of an project, the community is the best.
I think it cut out.
Can you repeat your question?
Kind of sounded like it had a bad signal. Maybe he's in and out there.
Yeah.
All right. In the meantime, I did have one more question for you. With your partnerships, how do you vet them, and how do the funds work? So I know with SafeMoon, you probably had to pay a bit of money, but with partnerships like, let's say, Devious Licks, how does that work? Do they pay a certain amount to buy into the support of Affinity, or?
Nope. So we don't charge anybody for anything, for partnerships or anything like that, or the use of Adapt if somebody wants to use the APIs and incorporate it. Now, it doesn't mean in the future, as things get bigger, that there wouldn't be some kind of licensing fee or integration for Adapt or any of our products. But right now, it's more important for us to get that out, get the usage out, get the user counts up. So right now, and I'm saying this for anybody that might listen that has a project, if you want to utilize Adapt, now would be the time, because I can't promise you that there will not be a licensing fee in the future. But as far as partnering with anybody, no, we don't really agree with that, because again, this is about bringing to light the good projects and the good things that are happening, because we want to overshadow the negativity. We want to overshadow the rug pulls and the honeypots and the scams. And the best way to do that is to bring as many good projects together. So we'd rather spend our efforts and time getting to know people. So most of our vetting process is having conversations with them, bringing them to our Discord, basically having a two-way interview with each other multiple times, looking at their project, seeing what they're doing sort of an AMA like we're doing now, asking them about their roadmap, where they come from, what their background is. And then if we're comfortable with them, we definitely are going to pursue whatever it may be, whether it's integration into each other's software and products, or maybe it's as simple as just, kind of introducing each other to our communities.
Perfect. And then with that, because I know you did do the SafeMoon, how does that work? Is that a core team internal thing, or do you guys turn to the community and say, hey, this is going to cost this much? It might set the community back a little bit. How do you decide? Do you do a group vote?
It was a little bit of both. We didn't really do a vote on it, but we knew the community was on board with it. We were actually getting asked about it well in advance. And like I said, at first, we weren't really on board with it, because you obviously have to move liquidity, and there's a fee associated with it. But once we were able to have that conversation with the SafeMoon team and get that fee severely reduced, as well as work out some of the things with the moving the liquidity over, it was kind of a no-brainer. It already had paid dividends in the return on investment. So we're well into the green on that one.
Perfect. And then do you guys have like an insurance or a recovery plan in case you do have a partnership? Let's say you get with another exchange, it's pretty prominent, and then they have a big scandal. How do you plan to recover those funds? And then how would you move forward from that?
Yeah, so that's a good question. And, I'm going to be honest with you. Obviously, we only have one partnership right now that has any kind of access to any of our liquidity or anything like that. This does bring to light like what is the opportunities, and one of them is only to just keep doing our due diligence, and if we need to, we pull things back, but if not, then we leave things the way they are. But going forward, we do need to have that plan, and there's a lot of things that happen. Sometimes you don't think about it up front, but sometimes even just conversation, whether true or not, just conversation makes you think, hey, we need to make sure that we have plans going forward. So there is only one, like I said, one partnership right now that's even an option. But yeah, going forward, we're going to have to definitely think about how we're going to handle that. So as of right now, there is not a whole lot in place. Insurance right now in DeFi is incredibly expensive. So it would cost us probably about a third of our liquidity pool to insure our liquidity pool. So that's not something that at this time that we could afford. And I'm not too worried about it with this particular partner. So right now.
No, definitely. I'm just thinking of hypotheticals.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
no, and that's a very great question. And that is something that going forward, we will have to make sure we're good with.
Yeah, I know you put a lot towards the community and with your taxes and the way that it gets readjusted to put back in the investors, but it might be something to see if your community is interested in putting 1% away towards an investment fund. Because if you already have your wallets listed and everything's been so transparent, it's in their best interest and well-being as well. Because if something does happen, and let's say you put 100 BNB in there, that's a hit. But if you put 1% over all the transactions and sells and things like that, then it could be that safety net where it goes from 100 BNB to maybe like 20, and it wouldn't be as impactful.
Yep, absolutely. No, I agree with that. That's a great idea.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. My question is, as the investor that I am, what aspect of the project would you think would make me want to invest? What will appeal to me from the project? How should I say, why are you bullish on your project?
That's a hard question to answer, only because it's a multi-point answer. One is, like I said, with the team. I'm not going to go too much into that because it's kind of cliche. I know everybody thinks that they have the best team, but truly we have an amazing team behind this project. The second thing is, when we look at what we're doing, what's in the roadmap, why are we doing the things we're doing? We're not just throwing things at the wall to see if they stick. We're not just forking every other product out there. There's a lot of projects that just fork PancakeSwap or just fork whatever, just so they can push things out in a roadmap. We really look for opportunities to come up with unique products, like something like Adapt. It doesn't exist anywhere that we know of. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but that we didn't know of, we couldn't find anywhere. We also do have patent pending on Adapt and everything that centers around the development of that platform, as well as our peer-to-peer exchange that's coming. The patent pending also covers that as well. So, like I said, when we're looking forward to everything in our roadmap development, I understand that cross-chain isn't something that's brand new, but that cross-chain is really a setup for our peer-to-peer exchange, because the way that's going to work is it's simply going to allow a user like myself to put up a certain token and then request 3 tokens in exchange, where somebody like yourself could come along and then want to fill that order. If I have the token you're looking for and you have the token I'm looking for, you could fill that order and safely swap tokens with each other peer-to-peer without having to worry about anybody not fulfilling their side of the agreement and then run away with tokens. The contract's going to handle that for you. By creating these bridges, it allows us to create a peer-to-peer swap where we can cross-chain that swap as well. So everything we're doing is setting up for the next thing. And we're always trying to innovate and create things that do not exist as we go forward, as well as creating partnerships and really trying to establish something great. We do have a 5-year business plan that's coming out. Still working on it. Once we switched over to the C Corp, it changed some things, so I have to make some changes in that plan. But we are actually, as far as I know, the only crypto project I've seen that's actually going to release a full-scale 5-year business plan with 5-year financial projections. So there's a lot of things we have going for us, not only from the team and business perspective, but from the innovation and product creation perspective as well. So if you can ask me what I'm bullish on the most, that's what gets me excited.
Hey, Crypto, you speak a lot about partnerships and business plan. You guys have like an R&D department, or you have people that's devoted to this department and is being intentional about that?
Yeah, I kind of wish. So our team is small right now. There is 5 of us in total. We do have we have about 3 people that we contract for certain work. Like I said, if I need some front-end work done, we just don't have time for it or whatever. We have some other people we bring in here and there and just pay them per job. But for the most part, it's just us 5. So Chris, who I thought I seen him pop in here a little while ago, you'll see him out here. He is. Yeah, he's on there. He goes by Meme Lord. He's our CTO. He does a lot of the research and development, and he will bring other people in. Like I said, we'll grab some other, whether it's a partner of ours, or whether it's just internally in the team, and think through ideas, throw things on testnet, throw things around, and see what we can do to come up with it. But yes, so this is one of the things that I was talking about, where creating the corporation and allowing for equity investors rather than offering up token becomes very important, because then we can create that funding to hire a bigger team, to hire those R&D teams, to hire marketing teams, and really expand on the developers and things like that, which we can't do just simply relying on token rewards, right? Because we never want to sell the token to expand. So creating the corporation is really going to allow us to do some really great things and propel this whole project forward by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, definitely see the real life experience, business experience that you're applying into this project, and it seems like you have a solid vision for the project. So yeah, really nice to see.
Absolutely, thank you.
We have any more questions on the floor?
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
May I ask your question, Star?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my question is, so I've listened to your AME so far, and I'm really impressed about your project. So my question is, currently, who are your market targets, and what are your main priorities right now? Like, what's the main priorities of your project right now?
I heard the second part of the question. What was the first one? Was it the market cap?
Yeah, I believe so.
The market cap is about 9 million. Yeah, we're just over 9 million right now. So our main focus is, if you look at our roadmap, which is affinitybsc.com, go to the roadmap there under, I believe, token. I don't remember exactly where it is on the website, but we have a roadmap. Right now, our main focus is on 2 things, and that would be the cross-chain swap and the Adapt mobile app. Right now, at this point in time, those are the 2 things that we've been working on the hardest.
Okay, as far as marketing goes, what can you say about your marketing strategies? How successful has it been so far?
So, I mean, we did cover this a little bit in the beginning. I don't know if you were here for that, but I'm going to let Zach, he is our CMO, our marketing officer, so I'm going to let him talk about that.
So far, I would like to say it's been pretty strong. From when these guys, or when we as a team officially started marketing, it was when we were at 500 million market cap, and we were able to get ourselves up to 25 million before we started consolidating. So initially, very good push, anywhere from partnership marketing to affiliate marketing to digital marketing, anything advertising, anything and everything across the board, absolutely smashing it. Right now, our main focus is contextual marketing, which basically is just, if anybody doesn't know what that is, the best way to explain it is those creepy ads that you get on any social media that you're like, damn, I was just thinking about that. Why is this here? Well, that's it. So basically, we're targeting right now, this past week, we're targeting Fox and CNN, some real world advertisement. So that's a little stuff that we're doing. And then as the mobile app ramps up, obviously we'll get back into the more physical banners and stuff of that nature in the crypto world, your BSC scans and all that stuff. And then obviously stuff like this, we're hitting the ground floor out here doing our normal what would be the physical marketing, right? Out here doing the AMAs and the groundwork, and that's never going to stop. It's something that we pride ourselves on and we enjoy doing. So.
All right, then I have one more question, please. Can I go? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I said I've got one more question, please. Can I?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Go for it.
And there are countries where cryptocurrency they are very strict on cryptocurrencies, and their regulation is very hard on their citizens. So, what's your plan in maintaining that, in ensuring that communities that are harsh on these laws, people don't suffer, like people who want to, like people in those communities don't suffer from their, I don't know if you get that. I'm not sure I'm putting the words together very well right now. But I don't know if you're following
I
me.
think I get it, but there's really two pieces of that. One is obviously the legal aspect of being able to actually even get in, on ramping and off ramping, that kind of thing. So at this time, not saying that when we don't have plans to do it in the near future, kind of wink, wink there. But we don't deal with on ramping and off ramp at this time, so that really doesn't pertain to us. But as far as just accessing crypto, we are making things easier for people to access it. That's the whole purpose of what we're doing, aside from obviously security as a big standpoint, education, but really making things easier for people to get into the space, lowering that barrier of entry. I remember my first time trying to get into DeFi and figuring out what the hell is a pancake swap. It was just, and I have lots of years of IT experience and things like that behind me. So I can't imagine what it's like for just the average person to get into crypto, and especially in the DeFi space, away from central exchanges, and really know what the hell they're doing. So that's what we're doing for communities that are, maybe, have a higher barrier, or don't have the support mechanisms to really educate each other on how to utilize and get in. By creating programs and products like Adapt, we can allow people to move the currency around, pay each other with it much, much easier than, say, using wallet addresses or just trying to, fumble your way through it. So I hope that answers your question, but that's really the best way I can answer that.
Oh, all right. Thanks very much.
No problem.
Thanks for the opportunity to ask question. Thank you.
I think Mike had a question earlier, the guy at the rock picture.
What did I have? No, I didn't have a question, brother.
There's a different Mike, the little rock emoji thing or something.
Oh, one of the floaties, Mike. MYK.
Yeah, that one.
Well, I got a question, and I might have missed the information because I missed like the first 10 minutes of this AMA at work. How long is your liquidity locked for by contract?
We do it usually in about 3-month chunks. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to go look at the date. I don't like to keep it locked too long because there are things that come up. For instance, it was great timing when we decided to go to the SafeMoon swap. In order to go over there, we needed to pull half the liquid, not half. I think we did 30%, 25 or 30%. I can't remember, and moved it over to SafeMoon. So I originally, when we launched this token, I wanted to lock it like indefinitely. But during some internal conversations, we said, well, that's not really a great idea because things come up, things evolve, technology changes. So we do it in like 3-month chunks. And then as it unlocks, if we have no reason to keep it unlocked, we just relock it again for 3 months.
Gotcha. Yeah, having multiple exchanges too. Do you like rebalance it every 3 months so that there's no significant arbitrage between whichever platform has more or less trade?
Yeah, so we haven't had to do that right now, but yeah, we will do that if need be. The reason we haven't had to do that yet is because I think we got on SafeMoon Swap maybe 2 months ago, a little over 2 months ago, and then we had to pull liquidity again recently so they could do an upgrade. So when we pulled liquidity for them to do an upgrade, I rebalanced it at that time, and that was only about maybe 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I think we're good for now, but yeah, I will do it periodically if I need to.
So that is pretty cool that you keep that on the radar and actually do that. One thing that I heard you mention in the chat is that you don't care about the chart as much as the stability. Have you considered doing a partial liquidity in stablecoin so that your token is even more stable than the Binance network itself?
Yes. So going forward, we're waiting for what I hope will be another bull run coming, right? So I want to catch BNB on an up run. And then once it regains some of the value that I know is there, I will pull partial liquidity and I'll stop migrating it over to some stablecoin to do just that.
Awesome.
But
and that
right
was
now,
actually
BNB is trading way too low. So
yeah, that was actually my next input, kind of a question, kind of a suggestion. With the amount of liquidity you have, I mean, you have multiple pools and one of them's at 1,500 BNB. If you could just play the seasonal market and switch between stable and BNB, you could actually reinvest the liquidity and benefit every investor and the project simultaneously.
That's right. So let's hope we get that bull run.
Right on. Well, I think that's about it for the questions. So what I like to do at the end of every AMA is I like to give the project 2 to 3 minutes, and I really want you to try and sell us on why we should buy into your project and your community.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke a lot today. I'm going to just say a couple things to close out, and I'll let Zach do his best. He's our marketing man anyway, and he hasn't been here the whole time, so he can definitely give a fresh input on things. But honestly, to recap what we talked about today, we are creating an opportunity. Everything that we've done with Affinity and continue to do and will do in the future is an opportunity, not for us, but an opportunity for anybody that comes across Affinity, listens to us, does their research, and sees what we're all about. This isn't about me. I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to trust yourself in your research. So again, check out our website, stop by our community, ask the questions, look through our socials. Weigh your risk options. Is this something that you're willing to take a shot with? Look at our roadmap and see what we're all about. We've established a very solid team with a legal company that's covering everything the right way. We're doing everything in our power to create products that are going to be innovative and useful to everybody in the crypto space, not just for Affinity holders, although Affinity holders are going to be the primary beneficiaries. But truly do your research. I implore you, once you look into Affinity and you see what's going on and you see who's the team is behind this project, you're not going to be able to help yourself. But again, that's on you. And I really trust that you'll do the right thing. And I appreciate you having us here. Thank you for letting us talk to your community. And we look forward to hearing from anybody and everybody that stops by to talk to us in the future and get to know what's going on. So, Zach, I know this is your thing. You haven't been here. If you want to talk about Affinity and tell everybody what it's about, have at it, brother.
Yeah, he said 3 minutes, and I heard 30 minutes, and I know I came late, but no, it is probably a good thing, because as much as Chris probably likes to talk, I'm just as much. We got to be told to shut up because we just don't stop. But he kind of took half my points though when it came to Affinity itself, right? When it comes to our token, when it comes to our team, I'm just gonna say the same thing. We really implore you, just please do your own research. Our entire background is out there on each member. We're very open. We pride ourselves on transparency and integrity. That's it. If you can have those two things, then your business will prosper. That's really all we want. When it comes to our product, right? And I'll give you the quick elevator pitch of it. I know he's talked about Adapt and what we're going to offer, but again, I don't know how much you maybe hit on our reflections as well and how great they are. But the way I market it and the way I'll tell it to anybody is we've created the Cash App of the Venmo of crypto. Okay, we've created something. And the reason why I paint that picture in your mind, right, is that small percentage fee, which I don't know if you covered, Chris. There's a small percentage fee of Adapt, which is 0.75% for each thing that you do that routes back to Affinity through buy and burn or pushing rewards directly. So again, with that picture of Venmo or Cash App in your brain, imagine if that token was being a Cash App had a token and it was pumped by those fees daily. Millions of dollars would pump that token and you wouldn't need buys and sells anymore. If anybody's from our community, they've heard this over and over again because this is the main pitch. As we build these partnerships, as more people learn about our platform and people no longer have to burn their money by sending it to the wrong address, our token will prosper and you will prosper. At the end of the day, that's all we want, is we want you to win more than us. That's why we have our rewards set up the way they are. Chris actually showed me a really funny message of me asking him to lower the marketing fee when I first came on board. And now that I need marketing money, I am kicking myself in the ass. I mean, he didn't do it. It was already low as it is. I mean, we get 3.75% of the total taxes back to marketing. But I asked him to lower it even more, and I wanted more to the holders. He told me that was crazy. But yeah, that's what it is, right? We're here for you guys. We wake up and we come to work and we do our normal jobs plus this for you. We want to make all of these utilities and make this space more simple and safe for you, not for our own gain. And again, words are cheap, or talk is cheap, especially in this space. I know we see a bunch of stuff going on nowadays, and that's why we just route back to look us up. DM me. I am the most open person on the team. Just by communication wise, if you have any questions, reach out. I will answer you within 24 hours. I promise you. Obviously, this week in particular, please don't hold me to that. I have 2 more birthdays to do this week, so I'm a busy bee. But in a general sense, we are very, very open, and we will answer everything you have to. We will show you everything you need to, so you understand that we're serious about what we offer. It'll probably take more than 3 minutes, and I could probably keep talking. But again, I just want to thank you guys for bringing us on. I'm sure Chris really covered everything about us in the time that I was gone. He is the best radio voice around here. And again, we don't intend on going anywhere anytime soon. So we'll be back here. We'll definitely come back after the app is released so we can explain that a little bit more and make sure that everybody understands wholeheartedly what we're going to offer, because at the end of the day, everybody likes a tangible product. Everybody likes to see what they're investing in, and they like to see where their money's going, and that's coming very soon.
Hey, Zach, I don't want to take up too much more time, but before we cut this, do you want to explain, since this is the last day for the NFTs for beta? Want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, 100%. So we do have actually, Mike, if you want to unmute and say something real quick so people can see. He actually, in his profile picture, we do have our own personal Affinity NFTs. It's a 250 piece collection, sorry. Currently there's 150 left. And by buying one, there is no main, like, quote unquote, utility. I'm just going to start with that. These are 1-for-1s. So with that, though, we decided that we would give $50,000 back to the community, in which who might buy one. So if you buy one floaty, which is 1.05 BNB right now, you have a chance of winning 10 grand. So it is 10 grand back to 5 people. So you have a 1 in 50 chance of winning winning 10 grand. With that as well, up until, actually, that was today. So if you buy one up until midnight tonight Pacific time, you will solidify yourself into the app beta. So again, this mobile app or adapt that we're talking about that we do have a D app for, when the mobile app, the beta comes out in just a couple weeks, you will solidify yourself a beta spot. So again, if you buy one of these NFT floaties, not only do you have a chance of winning 10 grand, but you also be able to use adapt well before everybody else.
Thanks, Zach.
So you said you had 150 of those, and how many sold?
250 and 100 are sold.
Okay, I was about to say if you've only sold like 5 or 6, then people should probably get on buying those.
Yeah, and they're available on. They're available to mint on Devious. What's his site? What's the URL again?
Deviouslicks.io.
That's what it is. Yeah.
We also have a swapper address as well if you want to send BNB directly to that to get one in return. And actually, I'll add on top of that, because it's yet to be drawn, the other core team member, Paul, I think he said he was here. Paul, you want to say hi real quick?
Hi, I'll be brief. Thank you very much. I'm Paul. I apologize for being out earlier. I had some family stuff, but DM me as well.
So Paul here, he's running a little contest. So there is 2 floaties out there that look like Rick from Rick and Morty. There's a regular white one, and then there's a brown one, or does he have a brown vest? Either way, they both look like Rick. And if you pull that, you will actually win not only the chance to win $10,000, but automatically you will win 2 months of reflections from the team wallet, which is a substantial amount right now. I think it's a few grand, Paul. I think it's like 3 or 4 grand.
$3,200 right now.
$3,200 worth of reflections you would win just from pulling that Rick NFT. Again, there's still 2 more out there in the last 150, so you have a 50% chance. Only one of them will win. So the first one to pull it will win those reflections.
That's pretty smoking.
I like Rick and Morty.
Yeah. So if that's everything, what you got, Matt?
I'm not really sure how NFTs work, but could I trade 3 Stellar NFTs for one of your floaties? I can assure you they cost me a whole lot more money. It's a project they rugged us. But yeah, I'm interested in one of your real NFTs.
That sucks.
Good try, Mike.
They came in here for an AMA and rugged you?
Oh man.
Yep. Deviouslicks.io.
Deviouslicks, like it.
A little shameless plug. If you do like NFTs, I know they were over here. They've been a partner with us for a while now. So if you like NFTs and you like a gamified project, I would definitely go look at them. It's a lone dev over there, but he works his ass off to make sure that shit keeps chugging along. So I would definitely go look that way if you are inquiring about NFTs or want just a solid project to get behind. Again, we'll be using their NFT marketplace as it comes out pretty soon here.
Perfect. So with that, I'd like both Deviouslicks and Affinity, please post your sites on the open chat. This has been JM2. We just did an AMA with the Affinity project. And it's always important to do your own research. So don't base or judge anything off the information that you heard from myself as a moderator speaking here. Please do your own research. We are not financial advisors. With that said, this was a fantastic AMA. I really enjoyed the project and what you guys had to bring to the table. So from here, we're going to pass the mic over to Mike, and he's going to go over the reward winners.
What's up, guys? So that was one hell of an AMA tonight. We had 112 participants total, which smashed our record at 90 previous. So I'd like to say congratulations to everybody tonight. That was an amazing AMA. We have $50 to give to our room, which I'll pick 2 first off the wheel here, and then $25 to their room, which I believe USA will be on this in about a second. He's going to tell you to go to the Affinity room and say USA Crypto Group sent me, and I will go and pick one after and pin and post all the winners with the AMA after into our group. So with that being said, let me hit
So we just
shuffle.
want to shoot out another reminder for everybody. If you guys are lucky enough to win the $25 draw in here, we do have the community pool. If you have any questions on that, type in /compool3 and it'll give you all the information on what it's about and what you're capable of doing. Essentially, you put $25 up front and it gets into a community pool. USA Crypto Group funds the floor of it. So you're pretty much guaranteed a 2x on it. The first community pool that we did, we invested in a project called Blockblend and we 21x'd it. So everybody that put in $25 out of the 11 members, each person came out with $525. We understand that's not going to be every single time, but it is a very cool thing that we're doing. And if you have questions, like I said, please ask the admins or do /compool for more information.
Thank you for that, Jam. And let's get this going now. We're all shuffled up. It's going to be it. A lot of names on the wheel. Okay. AK Jimrat. Congratulations, brother. When you sell $25.
Sweet. That never happens that fast.
Okay.
Who's going to be number 2?
You better pick me.
Johnny
You pick
English.
Seattle. You got to fail him.
Congratulations, Johnny English. Winner number 2. All right, that's it for our winners. And on the wheel anyways. Like I said, in probably about 10, 15 minutes, I'll go in and I'll go pick another winner from the Affinity Telegram group. All you got to do is go over there and say USA Crypto Group sent me. And like I said, I'll post this AMA and the winners in the main chat in a bit. And I'm sure one of us will send you on over the recording as well there, Crypto Tournament.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it,
Chris. That was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely a good time. We appreciate you having us, for real.